don't think there's a switch. I think, as I've said unequivocally from the beginning, there's not a snowball's chance in hell that Canada will ever be the 51st state. Let's be very clear. Conversations around a 51st state are a non-starter. It's never going to happen. But we have to take seriously what the President is saying and fold that into our thinking as we continue to stand up for Canada. Partnerships and institutions like NATO are built upon trust. Trust that when times get tough, we can count on each other, because you can always count on Canada. Our economic partnerships must also be deepened to allow for further growth, to create more opportunities for our workers and entrepreneurs, to give more choice to consumers, and to strengthen the middle class. That's what we'll achieve here with the Canada-EU Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement that has already increased trade between our countries by 66% over the past 9 years. When, in 2016, we signed both CETA and Canada's strategic partnership with Europe, nobody knew just how much turmoil lay ahead of us. In the following years, this strengthened collaboration, on top of its economic benefits, has been crucial as we work to protect the health and safety of our citizens during the pandemic and to support the Ukrainian people in their fight for freedom, justice, and democracy.
Hi, Rachel Aiello, CTV News. What was J.D. Vance's response when you brought up steel in Ohio, and did you two talk about anything else?
It was just a quick greeting exchange. I highlighted that $2.2 billion worth of steel and aluminum exports from Canada go directly into the Ohio economy, often to contribute to manufacturing that happens there. He nodded and noted it, but it wasn't a longer exchange than that. But it is part of the Team Canada effort that wherever Canadians are, whether it's premiers in Washington today or officials or ministers exchanging with their counterparts in the U.S. administration, we bring up just how interconnected our countries are. We're talking about potential job losses in the U.S. Based on these tariffs on steel and aluminum is not mere speculation. We know that that will happen because that's exactly what happened last time tariffs were brought in on steel and aluminum in 2018. There were job losses in the United States. 75,000 fewer jobs in the U.S. because of tariffs they brought in on steel and aluminum, and those tariffs were even lower than the ones they're contemplating bringing in right now. So anytime we have an opportunity, we will be highlighting those facts and doing everything we can to prevent moving forward with this policy that will hurt both Americans and Canadians.
Previously said that it's a real thing that Trump wants to annex Canada. How serious or urgent would you classify that threat?
Let's be very clear. Conversations around a 51st state are a non-starter. It's never going to happen. But we have to take seriously what the President is saying and fold that into our thinking as we continue to stand up for Canada.
Mr. Trudeau, Mackenzie Gray with Global. Following up on Ashley's point, when Mr. Trump started talking about Canada being a 51st state, your government's original response was to say that it was a joke. Now you're saying that this is a real thing. Can you take us into your mindset? What was the moment that made you switch from thinking it's a joke to a real thing?
I don't think there's a switch. I think, as I've said unequivocally from the beginning, there's not a snowball's chance in hell that Canada will ever be the 51st state. At the same time, from having worked with President Trump for over 8 years now, I can tell you that we have to take seriously what he says and make sure we're responding appropriately. And quite frankly, the response of Canadians over these past weeks has been inspiring, as people have been there for each other, people have been changing their vacation plans, people have been looking at ways to buy Canadian, to support local businesses, to diversify their supply chains to places like Europe and Asia. This is a response of Canadians who are saying, yeah, this is going to be tough, but we're going to double down on Canadian pride and standing up for each other.